I said, do you think it's fair that we're paying $200 billion to keep Canada going? And what would happen, I asked him, what would happen if we didn't do that, if we didn't subsidize Canada? He said, we'd be a failed nation. And I said, then you should be a state. I like doing that if they're a state, but I don't like doing that if they're a nation. Also, they've been very nasty to us on trade. I would love to see Canada be the 51st state. The Canadian citizens, if that happened, would get a very big tax cut, tremendous tax cut. You wouldn't have to worry about military. You wouldn't have to worry about many of the things. You'd have better health coverage. You'd have much better health coverage.
Canada, the 51st U.S. state. Trudeau says not going to happen. Robin Levinson King, Roll, BBC News. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has reiterated that Canada has no intention to become the 51st state of the U.S. It's not going to happen, he said. Speaking to former White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki on MSNBC's Inside on Sunday, Trudeau discussed President-elect Donald Trump's repeated comments that Canada could become a part of the U.S. I know as a successful negotiator he likes to keep people off balance. The 51st state, it's not going to happen, he said. The Prime Minister, who has faced growing in popularity in the polls ahead of a national election, announced that he will step down in March after his Liberal Party picks a new leader. Trump has upped the ante recently with repeated comments about annexing Canada. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like, and it would also be much better for national security, Trump said at a press conference at his Florida Mar-a-Lago home on Tuesday. Canada and the United States, that would really be something. He has even gone so far as to call the Prime Minister, Governor Trudeau, a position usually held by leaders of U.S. states. But on television on Sunday, Trudeau said he pays those jabs no mind. I tend to focus on the substantive things and not on people choosing nicknames for me. I mean, if I was that thin-skinned I probably wouldn't last that long in politics. One of the big reasons Canada will not join America, Trudeau said, is simple: Canadians do not want to. When trying to define their national identity, Trudeau said Canadians are likely to say, we're not Americans, amongst other things. Earlier this week, Trudeau put it more bluntly, saying there was not a snowball's chance in hell that the two countries would become one. Trudeau said that what he is concerned about is the impact of tariffs on Canadians and Americans. Tensions between Trump and Canada have been simmering since the president-elect announced his plan to implement 25% tariffs on goods coming from Canada. The move would have a significant impact on Canada's economy and could lead to retaliatory tariffs. Canadians are incredibly proud of being Canadian, but people are now talking about that rather than the impact that 25% tariffs, Trudeau said. No American wants to pay 25% more for electricity or oil and gas coming in from Canada. Meanwhile, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith posted on social media that she had met with Trump at his Mar-a-Lago residence over the weekend to discuss the importance of U.S.-Canada energy partnerships. Alberta is a major oil and gas exporter. Thursday, that President-elect Donald Trump's comments about turning Canada into the United States' 51st state are just a distraction from the consequences of Trump's tariff threats. Trudeau, who announced earlier this week he would resign as prime minister once his party had chosen his successor, told Tapper that Canada becoming another U.S. state was not going to happen. President Trump, who is a very skillful negotiator, is getting people to be somewhat distracted by that conversation, to take away from the conversation around 25% tariffs on oil and gas and electricity and steel and aluminum and lumber and concrete, Trudeau told CNN's The Lead with Jake Tapper in an interview from Washington. Trump in November promised massive hikes in tariffs on goods coming from Mexico, Canada and China starting on the first day of his administration. On January 20th, as one of my many first executive orders, I will sign all necessary documents to charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tariff on all products coming into the United States and its ridiculous open borders, Trump posted on his Truth Social platform. This tariff will remain in effect until such time as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and all illegal aliens stop this invasion of our country. That policy that could sharply increase costs for American businesses and consumers, a fact Trudeau was quick to point out Thursday. Canada, Mexico and China are the U.S.'s biggest trade partners. Everything the American consumers buy from Canada is suddenly going to get a lot more expensive if he moves forward on these tariffs, Trudeau said. Trudeau stressed that Canadians are incredibly proud of being Canadian. One of the ways we define ourselves most easily is, well, we're not American. Trudeau weighs in on Los Angeles wildfires. Trudeau told CNN on Thursday he had been in touch with California Governor Gavin Newsom about sending aid to battle deadly and destructive wildfires and warned that climate change is making such fires worse. Trudeau said his country offered California state officials a tremendous amount of equipment that they're already accepting. Apocalyptic scenes have emerged across Los Angeles County, where deadly wildfires remain mostly uncontained. Evacuation orders are impacting nearly 180,000 people. Canada has experienced its own series of wildfires in recent months. Last year, Canada witnessed dangerous wildfires that scorched tens of thousands of acres, forcing thousands of evacuations, damaging property and degrading air quality. Trudeau attributed the intensity and frequency of such wildfires that affected Canada and California to the changing climate. Unfortunately, over the past years, we've seen it get far worse, and we've seen wildfires increasingly encroaching on urban areas, and that's a fire where we have to train up more local municipal firefighters to deal with wildfires in a way that we never had before, Trudeau told CNN on Thursday. What we see now is going to just get worse and worse and worse over the coming decades if we're not serious about reducing our emissions and looking for ways to protect our future generations, Trudeau added.
If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and leave a comment below. See you next time.